Okay, how we doing out there? First things first, my name is Kenneth Bird. I'm the creator of Illuminous 4K screen paint using ambient light rejection technology game. We're going to start this stream early today because I have much to do, much to do. So let me turn off my air purifier in here. And I want to talk about, I had some comments and questions come up about people asking about how they can just paint the screen or the projection screen or wall with everyday black paint. Now, I knew of a fellow, I'm not going to mention any names, that painted his entire wall black with everyday house paint, and the results came out quite nasty. All right, so in the center of the screen, we have a piece of material that was coated with just everyday black house paint. Also, too, I've been out looking for other projection screens, high-end projection screens, as in the Elite, DMP, Supernova, other screens that may have true black technology to do side-by-side demonstrations. As I said before, I don't find any challenge in doing mixes next to mixes. I like to go at the big boy screens. So one of the things I was mistaken in, and I said mistake, I made a mistake. The Elite Dark Star 9 is one of the screens I've been talking about because it's one of the darkest screens I've ever seen so far made. And this is what I have right here. Look at it. That's an Elite Dark Star 9. These are special edition screens. This isn't your everyday Elite screen that you would get off Amazon or you would get out of certain places. These are not white screens or silver screens. This is a special screen. These screens cost a couple of $1,000s. Now, this screen is using, if I can bring it up here a little bit, it's using a form of ambient light rejection technology front projection, and it has a 0.9 gain, as you can see. I'm off to get myself a new sample sheet. So this is what I want to show you. So I'm going to turn you around to my screen I have behind me. It's my computer monitor screen. We'll take you off the stand for just a minute. And I want to swing you over here to my monitor. And I want to show you the cost of one of these screens. A lot of people don't realize the screen actually does exist. These are what they're called high-end screens. So usually when you buy an Elite screen, most people buy an Elite screen, their screen would probably cost them $400 or $500 because that's a white typical basic screen. And then you move up the ladder to the Great Cinema 5D, the Polar Star. But when you come to the flagships, the big boy screens, these are certain screens right here because the color is darker and it's AR technology, the price jumps. So we have a 100-inch screen or 108-inch screen that would cost you in the price of $3,842 just for 100-inch. Now, I don't have the E Infinity, I think that's what it is, a sample sheet, which now I know that that's one of the ones I have to add onto my checklist to have it over here. I need to get a sample of that. This is a Dark Star 9 Special Edition. These are the ones that we're actually looking for getting our hands on. This one comes in at 120 inches as $3,999 for a 100-inch screen. Usually you won't find these, like I said, over at Amazon. This is a sample sheet we have right now. We got the Dark Star 9 EPV edition right there. So that's what I have right here. My controller out of the way on my messy desk right there. So this is what we have right now in our possession right now. So what we need to do is get our hands on the special edition, which I'm curious, and we need to get our hands on the, it's actually a special edition AR fix. So I'm going to just make some phone calls to see if I can actually get my hands on that one. So this is the one we have right here. We have the Dark Star 9 Prime Vision. So there is their screen. I'm going to blow this up a little bit. If my mouse will play with me nicely here, if it wants to. There it is. So there's the Dark Star 9. This is the sample sheet we have right in front of us. This is our screen in action. As I pointed out before, ambient light controlled environments. This is what I see in a lot of demonstrations, because if you look at the environment, a lot of people don't really look at the environment. They're too busy staring at the screen. They would have noticed that the lights that they have right here at the top, this is why you have to stare at the environment carefully. The lights up here at the top are not touching the screen. They're bypassing the screen. And if you look at the corners are nice and dark, which is not a good sign. There's no ambient light. If there was ambient light in this environment, all this would be well lit, like you're seeing here. It'd be well lit. So you can see the corners are dark. And they put 3 lights up in the front, or 4 lights or whatever, and the lights are moved away from the screen physically, and they're just shooting down, as you can see, to give the appearance that there's ambient light in contact with the screen when there really isn't. Now, as you can see, this part right here, they're showing that it's probably I guarantee you, either a white screen, and it's showing you how the screen washes out the color. And I guarantee you they're using a projector that's much more advanced than the Sony I have over here. Like I said, this is not to put the company down in any way whatsoever, it's just to show you. So this is how dark, I guess your screen comes up. Let's see, go back here a minute. This is stuff you have to look at. When you watch these demonstrations on these screens, you have to look at the background. Background tells the whole story of the screen. You see how dark it is back here? It's not supposed to be that dark. Now here we are. We have 1 light. Oh, come on. Behave. Let's go back here a minute. Come on. Behave. There we go. So as you can see in the environment, we have 1 light here with a shade on it. Once you put a shade on a lamp, it no longer is dispersing light from left to right. Physical light is actually going up and down. The shade is designed to block any light around, and all the physical light goes from up to the bottom. There's no physical light actually hitting the screen. Having a lamp on, like I said, gives it the effect that the screen is being hit with ambient light. The room is well lit, and the screen is able to support an image. I could do this outside without a problem, and the screen would fail miserably, which we are going to do that. We're going to take an Elite Dark Star 9 outside. Now, I told you, the overhead lights. You look up here, you can see where the light's coming straight down. It's illuminating the table and the screen right here to give it the illusion that the entire room is well lit. But if you notice, there's no light here in the corners. This is stuff you got to see. This is stuff when you research technology to see exactly how good their ambient light rejection technology is. This is the stuff we're looking at. Now we have the same screen here, just saw in the video demonstration. That's their technology right there, same exact screen right here. But the difference is that their screen is not leaning against our technology. So, like I said, when we do those demonstrations on colors and you can't see the screen producing, when you saw me yesterday do the, a lot of people are asking questions, why do I take the camera and I point it all the way to the end? Because some of these screens have something called narrow viewing cone, where the screen actually becomes darker. And I have to post this again. I don't know which one it is. It's called Exumi or Eximi or whatever that projector is called. Please understand, we do not support those projectors. I'm sorry, but we do not support them. There it is right there. Elite Dark Star 9. So you're on price tag around $3,109. So around $3,000. That's what they run for. And this is over at my this is at the projector store, which I like to go through from time to time. I really got to put a battery in my mouse. This is my mouse. The battery in my mouse is dying. But first things first, before we start the demonstration on the Dark Star 9, we're going to do the house paint. So this is the screen that I have right here, which is a Dark Star 9. And the price tag for the screen will be around $3,109. And that's for a 106-inch screen. The wallpaper screen you're seeing here is about 106 inches. It does 16:9, 16:10, and 235.1. It's also weatherproof and ultra ortho compatible. There we go. We're going to do a demonstration on that involving color patterns, because as you saw in the demonstration where I was showing you in the Elite Screen demonstration, it was showing off the screen's ability to be able to produce its AR technology with the ability to be able to produce an image or bright colors and a fully lit environment, which means in that video clearly I saw a demonstration of a screen that was an ambient light controlled environment. This is not ambient light controlled environments. These are very bright. In any part of my house, we don't have ambient light controlled environment. We don't control the lighting that goes near the screen. All the lighting makes contact with the screen, especially when we're outside. Can't get around that one. All right, so come on, let's get out of this. If I can get the controller. Okay, we're going to go over to the my YouTube. Now, as I said before, when you use a black house paint or a kind of black material, one of the biggest issues you're going to have is the fact that, as I said before, black screens do not have white levels. Our technology does, but black house paint, black material, anything that you think that you're going to be able to mimic a black screen, you're going to have a problem with it because it can't produce a white level, which means it has something what we call oversaturation or contrast. It produces a black level so high that it's too dark. And if it's too dark, that means anything that hits it comes out dirty and muddy, especially white levels. So we're going to come over here and pop in. I'm going to go over to our applications. And like I said, any black surface is going to pull contrast, just like any light gray screen or any white screen is going to be able to pull white level. Easy. And there you go. So that's why when you look at the color, it's not a bright red. It's dirty. See how dirty the color looks? How dark it is? That's not a proper color of red. It's too dark. It's too dirty. It's because it's not pulling a white level. So like I said, I had a customer paint his entire wall black. That's a bad ordeal. Now, if you paint over your projection screen or motorized projection screen, and the first thing people do when they do this is they go out and they put a contrast level on, especially if the screen was already white. They'll do a dark scenery and say, wow, it's the same thing. I don't have to sit there and buy that screen paint. But the minute something pops on there, like a snowstorm or flesh tones or anything like that, the image becomes muddy and dirty. And they go, oh, okay. Yeah, because white levels are very important on a black screen. If you don't, your colors come out too oversaturated and too dark. Let's go over to, as we're skipping through this as fast as possible, because I have orders to get out today. I have screen paint that has to be shipped out, and I have a few more wallpapers to go today. Very busy day today, very busy day. But I'd rather be busy than not busy, to tell you the truth. So, you know, no complaints here, trust me. Because I think in one statement, no, it's black. Black's going to show up regardless because it's black. I had one statement where somebody was saying, like I said, I'm going to go back on statements that people have said about our technology. Oh, it's not anything new. He's just taking everyday black house paint and that's what he's selling. Well, in the middle of that screen is everyday black paint. It's flat interior black house paint. But on our end, we know that you can't, it's not house paint because house paint can't pull white level. So you're gonna have a problem there. All right, let's get through this because I don't know why that particular image came. Let's go with the B blue. We just want blue. That's what we're looking to get, that blue. All right, where are you? There we go. Blue screen. Again, you see the image in the middle? See how dirty and ugly it looks? Because it can't pull a white level. You have to have a white level. Doesn't make a difference if your lights are on and lights are off. Doesn't make a difference. My projector is 4,300 lumens. So there's a 4,300 lumen hitting a black screen in the center. It's hitting everything at 4,300 lumens. But for some reason, our image is showing a perfect blue. Where on the black screen, you're just getting this really dark and dingy look to it. Let's go over to, let's go over to green. I'll show you these first. So throughout the demonstration, you can get an understanding on the color balance on what you're getting from your projector. I had someone come in and ask me about calibrating projectors and explained to them before that calibrating projectors came in when screens were all white. So this is notion for anyone who's thinking about painting their screen with everyday black house paint. Don't do it because you would destroy your setup. Of course, if you do it, you can use our stuff to repaint over it, but you will destroy your setup, literally. And keep in mind, if you're doing a fixed frame screen and you paint that fixed frame screen with everyday black paint, do you know the nightmare it is to actually repaint a fixed frame screen? Those of you who own fixed frame screens, you know what I'm talking about, that you have to literally take apart the entire screen, take the material out, and then you have to frog tape the edges and then paint over the screen, wait till it dries, and then put the entire screen back together. Now, can you imagine if you painted that screen black, you would have to take that screen apart, repaint the screen with our technology, and then put it all back together. Yeah, that's a nightmare. That's a freaking nightmare. Or if you did your motorized projection screen. Let me explain something to you very carefully about a motorized projection screen. A motorized projection screen is designed to take a certain screen size and thickness through that motor. If it's too thick, there's too many layers on the screen, the motor will become jam. You will jam your motor and burn it out. A lot of people don't know that. So when people ask us, okay, how are we painting motorized projection screen? It doesn't do the layer because the chemical we develop embeds itself into the surface. It bleeds into the surface. So the most you can get away with is 2 coats before you jam a motor. We know, we've done this test already. I actually wrecked a projection screen doing multiple coats on it for demonstrations and didn't realize I was adding layers to it even though it was bleeding into the surface. So if you do this with a house paint, which is going to be much thicker, and you stick that on your screen, you only got one chance of that. Once you paint that over again, you run the risk of jamming that motor. All right, let's go over to, and you got to rebuy your screen all over again. Let's go over to clear. Let's go over to a sky blue. Sky blue. Because you're going to be looking at a sky scenery. Let's go pull up a sky blue. Sky blue. Beautiful, beautiful sky blue. Here we go, the color sky blue. White level. You have to have a white level. If you don't have a white level, you can't pull up bright, beautiful colors. So we got sky blue. Let's try pink. Let's try a beautiful pink. How about that? Let's go with pink. Now, keep in mind, as we're doing these color slides, right? If the color's not coming up proper, you know what that's going to look like. If you try to watch anything that involves any kind of bright, beautiful colors or skin tones, you're just going to come up with a dirty image. When it comes up to contrast, the screen's going to pull contrast. It's black. As I said before, any black surface will pull contrast. The problem you're going to have on a black screen is, and what's very important, it has to be to pull white level. So let's go with the beautiful pink. Pink, pink, pink. I like pink. I used to have a all black suit, and I used to sport it with a pink and gray tie. I like that little setup I used to have. And then one day I put my tie in the washing machine, and the washing machine ate it. Don't know why. All right, so let's go from there. All right, let it play a little bit. Let you look at it and see what you're getting. So next time you're in Home Depot and Lowe's and you see a can of black paint, you know exactly what's going to happen to your screen in your home theater setup. Let's go over with a kind of pink screen. It's kind of a pinkish purple kind of color to it. Now let's go for the color. Wait, first things first, let's do a gray. We're going to do a gray too. I thought that was a very interesting request from a customer yesterday. Not a customer, but a fellow who came in and he was like saying, well, do gray. I want to see what gray looks like. We'll do gray. Gray screen color. You can't even get a proper gray out of it. Let's go pull up a white. White. Now, I said before many times that our technology next to a gray screen or white screen, many times I've said this, gray screens and white screens will always have the ability to pull a higher white level. They just fail at contrast miserably. Now, I told you in my demonstrations, I would like to see multiple mixes of light gray screen paint doing contrast levels, as in we do multiple different forms of black screens doing white levels to show you the difference, because the hardest thing for a black screen to pull is a white level, and the hardest thing for a light gray screen paint to pull is a contrast level. So what is the difference, as I said before, between bare silver screen or some of these screen paint mixes out here if you put them in a contrast environment or contrast demonstration and a well-lit environment, not in the dark, and a well-lit environment. That's one of the things they'll lean over to in the dark, because the screen has a better chance of producing a black level in the dark. You have to do this with the lights on. There you go. So, as I was saying, when we do this, our demonstrations, like I said, there's no point in me doing a black screen versus another black screen using contrast, because I know the other screen's going to pull contrast. That's just a given. That's going to happen. Just like if you do a gray screen versus a gray screen using light, beautiful colors, it's going to be able to do the exact same thing. The hard thing to do is the opposite of what it's not supposed to be able to do, as in getting a black screen versus black to do white levels and getting a gray screen versus gray to do contrast. That's the hard part. That's the part that a lot of the gray screen paint mixes will not do. That Starfield demonstration, a fully lit environment, they're not going near that. Especially not outside, they're not going to do it. We've done Starfield demonstrations outside before. But, as I said before, it's just never going to happen, because the bottom line is, if they can't produce a side-by-side demonstration versus bare silver screen or any other light gray screen paint out there, and they can't show the difference between their contrast level versus another light gray screen, then pretty much you can just go make it yourself. In our demonstrations, I can show you what would happen if you take a black paint, everyday black house paint, and you try to mimic the same thing our screen does, and what you're going to get out of it. You're going to get a dirty image. So there's a difference between our technology and black paint. Let's go over to a nice white. And as I said before, yes, white screens, gray screens have the ability to produce a higher white level, because that's their element right there. But in our demonstrations, keep in mind, the key feature in our demonstration is to show that our black screens can produce a high enough white level where the image is not dirty and you can't see it. And that's one of the things that people have been trying to stain our company with by saying, oh no, the image is so dark, it's so dirty, you can't even see anything. Well, if they're using everyday black paint, then guess what? That's what it's going to look like. And that's how we can prove to you that, hey, when they did demonstrations, it was black paint in the container. Because I'm using black paint right now. Right there. It's black paint. All right. We've had some fun there. Let's go over to, let's see if we can bring up, this is another cool one right here. A little abstract art. I like the abstract art. There's no, I'm going to tell you from the door. If anybody ever tells you that a black screen put a white level the same as a gray screen or a white screen is a complete liar. There's no way in the world. I don't know what kind of Harry Potter wand you own, but there's no way in the world you'll ever get a black screen to produce a white level that high. The only screen that can produce a pure white level is a white screen. Even a light gray screen can't even do it. And light gray screens are in what you call the land of limbo, because they can't pull contrast and they can't pull white level. All right, so let's go pop over to, I'll take this out altogether. We'll put in, I like to do these particular demonstrations because there's a lot of white, bright colors, and it's not oversaturated with a lot of colors, just real natural white colors. That's why I like to do these particular demonstrations. So I do like doing these sky work demonstrations. This one especially with foods, because it just shows off exactly what natural color is supposed to look like and not oversaturated and dirty. Now, let's go back because we're way ahead in the demonstration. All right. So you can see it for yourself. So that's why I show you the different shades in white. I show you different shades and different colors so you can see what you're getting. You're just getting a very dirty image. And this is from a distance now. We're a distance. If I get up close on this, it gets uglier. Now, keep in mind, and this is not to be rude or beat a dead horse to death, when somebody comes in and says that our technology is so dark and so dirty that you can't see the image, you're looking at this live. You're looking at it at the same time I'm looking at it. I'm going to show you something real quick. Disconnect from my power cord real quick. We got enough juice. Let's have a closer look. See how beautiful the white level skin tone in her flesh down to the shirt? How clean that looks up close. Look how dirty and muddy that looks. Look familiar, doesn't it? This particular looks familiar, doesn't it? You know why this looks familiar? Because when people were doing side-by-side demonstrations with their technology saying it came up too dark and dirty, they were using house paint. So they were falsifying their demonstrations by saying it's house paint. This is how house paint comes up if you hit it with a projector. And mind you, my projector is 4,300 lumens. We couldn't make this thing pull white light if we even had 20,000 lumens in this room. That's how they were faking the demonstrations. They're putting everyday black paint. So when people ask us, why does our paint have an interesting look to it? It's so we can tell the difference between our product and black paint. If not, if it looked black, then anyone can do a demonstration, put black paint and say, hey, this is how it reacts. So when you see an image come up like this and somebody claims it to be our technology, guess what? That's black house paint. This is how our technology comes out. This is the way it's supposed to look. And this is what happens if you go to paint your projection screen or your wall, and God forbid, do not paint your wall with black paint. Trust me, it is going to be a nasty ordeal. You're going to have to reprime over the entire wall. Not that our paint can't go over top of it without a problem, but like I said, if you trimmed out a nice screen, you're going to have to just repaint over the whole wall. That's all to it. Just don't do it. Like I said, I had a customer who came in and he painted the wall all black and came back and said, contrast looked nice on the screen, but when it came to white levels, it was muddy and dirty. Now you're just seeing this small little square in the center of my screen, and you're seeing how dirty it looks. Can you imagine staring at that on a 150-inch screen? Ugh. Not to put them down or anything, no disrespect, but I couldn't imagine looking at on a 150-inch screen of a screen that's just black and dirty. Just ugh. All right, let's keep going. Do I have sound in here? And if I do, where the heck is my freaking remote controls there? Oh, here we go. Got remote control here. And some people think, I had a company that did the same thing too. They bought a bunch of gallons and gallons of black paint, and they figured because they had a 10,000 lumen projector that it was going to basically give them better white levels. No. Like I said, I'm 12 feet 5 inches away from my screen at 4,300 lumens. If you can't pull white level, you just can't pull white level. That's all to it. Have to have a natural color. You have to have a natural color. I like this particular one right here too also. So. I think one day when I go on vacation, I think I'm gonna visit that place. Now watch this. Oops, I gotta unplug this thing because I don't need this anymore. Got enough juice. See, one of the other things too when you do side by sides, they gotta show you up close what you're getting. Because I know some of you may look at it this like it doesn't look that bad. No, 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 it's bad. Trust me, it is bad. That is extremely bad. So I wanted to do, let's do a, it's a little more longer. Let's see more time in this. You know, I think next year I'm gonna go on vacation. I got a friend of mine that works at the airport. I'm gonna make some phone calls because I'd really like to go there. No, we already did this one already, so you already know the outcome of this one altogether. It does not play well. All right, let's go real quick and let's do. I gotta get my hot cup of tea because I told you I have a bit of allergies in the morning that plague me. Okay, let's go to. Everybody likes snow. Do we all? Oh, not some of us. Some of us hate snow. We'll put in a nice, pretty snowstorm. So it just shows on a demonstration, as you can see, you can't just simply go out and get black house paint, paint your wall, paint your screen, whatever you're going to paint with it, and try to get the same results. There's a big difference between our black technology and everyday black house paint or anything else you're going to use that's black. And I've used material too. I have fabric and materials and stuff like that. I'll put a few links at the bottom of all the different materials that we've actually tested. We've actually made someone's black screen paint mix and put it side by side on white levels, and it failed miserably. So there's a difference between our technology out there. So question you have to ask yourself, because I've already proven it right here live, you got to ask yourself, what is the difference between a gray screen paint mix and bare silver screen when it comes to contrast levels? That's what you got to ask yourself. Because if that's the case and there's no difference in it, then technically you can just go make a gallon of it and be done with it. And, you know, you don't have to pay any shipping charges or any of that whatsoever. Now, as I showed you before, those of you who saw it, you can rewind this. You saw me show demonstrations of the Dark Star 9. Let's come back over here real quick and let's pull up the, we're going to pull up the red demonstration. Here, we'll clear this here, and we'll just put in just red. Oh, you know what? We can put in blue. It doesn't make a difference. We'll put in blue. All right. Now, this screen has ambient light rejection technology. Keep in mind, this screen at 106 inches. Price tag around $3,000 something. Very expensive screen. We'll go over here. As you can see, the reaction to the black screen paint, actually black paint versus our screen paint. And check out King Groot over there in the corner. All hail King Groot. Now we'll take the Dark Star 9, put it in the middle of our black screen, and this is what you get. Because technically, when it comes to a Dark Star 9, it's not black. Any screen that's not 100% black will have this problem. Any screen that you do in a Starfield demonstration will come up gray because it's not black. The projector is actually projecting black. It's projecting blue. The image should come up not too dark. Sorry about that. The image should not come up too dark and the image should not come up too light. It's supposed to be a perfect balance. So you're supposed to have nice white levels and you have to have nice contrast levels all at the same time. You have too much contrast, the screen comes out dirty and dark. You don't have enough, the screen comes out faded. All right, give me a minute. I'll be back. I forgot to grab something really quick. So I'm going to just set you right there for right now so you can just check that out for yourself. Forgot to grab something downstairs as I always do. I'm hoping the person who called me does not call me till later on because they're probably a customer. Let me shut this. Okie dokie, I'm back. Tired and back. I got 2 flights of stairs, man. Okay, so we're looking at the Dark Star 9. Keep in mind, a Dark Star 9 next to a light gray screen paint would put it to shame. So you're talking about even the gray Cinema 5D next to a light gray screen. Heck, you could take any sample, and I'm going to do that too. I have a light gray projection screen painted downstairs. We're going to take the DMP Supernova, Infinity and Blade, Firehawk G4, Elite screens, the gray Cinema 5D, gray Cinema 5D. I had to get more sample sheets. I want to order more. I have the Dark Star 9, as you can see, but that's the Dark Star 9. And we'll do some other high-end screens. Like I said, for me, when I test out my product, there's really no point in me doing a screen paint mix next to another screen paint mix because there's no challenge there. Now, for me to go after one of these giants, you know what I mean, to have a lot of pull in the industry, and if I'm able to match or beat your technology, then that's a pretty big trophy to have on your mantelpiece. But to do a mix after another mix, no, there's no challenge there. So that's why when I test my stuff, that's why I have all these sample sheets. I test my technology against big boy screens. You have to. Because I've always get those customers that come in there that spend $4 and $5 grand for a screen. They have the money to spend $4,000 for a screen. And the first thing they'll say to me is, well, what's the difference between your screen and the Elite Dark Star 9 or DMP Supernova and all this stuff? So that's what I'll get from there. And I have to be able to prove it and show you a link and say it's done. I had a customer come in, not a customer, but as a fellow came into the room and he was ranting about one of the videos that I did, and he said, well, that's not real ambient light rejection because that screen is not sitting outside. I want to see it sitting outside. You're a phony, you're a fake. I'm like, man, you really shouldn't have said that because I've done those demonstrations already. I got screens outside that were sitting on my deck when I was watching a football game at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. So I sent him all these videos of outside demonstrations. He never replied back. That's why I have so many demonstrations, because anything that pops in my head like, never did it on that level before. I had demonstrations on my 1100 lumen Sony outside on the porch in front of my house. at around 8 o'clock in the morning. I've done demonstrations with screens sitting in the snow. I've done demonstrations with screens sitting in rainstorms, being soaked down with the water hose, screens being submerged underwater, frozen. I froze a screen, duct taped the screen, submerged it in water, froze it, had to smash it with a hammer to get it out of the break it between the ice, separated the screen on camera, and then when the screen really, we couldn't get the screen to really open up, I had to microwave my screen, which I had to stick it into a convection oven and heat it up to 350. I had that video right on YouTube. Pulled it apart and did a demonstration off of it. That demonstration was for a company in Canada that wanted to know if our screen paint was outside, would it crack and peel. Done all these demonstrations already, but majority of all the demonstrations I see on YouTube, and I'm sorry if I put anybody down on this, I just see the same thing. Ambient light controlled environment, dark environment, and they'll use a high-end projector and they'll look at all the pretty colors. Look how beautiful the screen looks. That's not enough. You have to be to show color patterns. What is the difference between your screen and this and that? You have to be to show the difference. If you can't, then guess what? You're just like everybody else. You have to show a difference. There's a huge difference in a Bugatti versus a Honda. Not to put a Honda down in any way at all. They're beautiful cars and all. I think all cars are beautiful cars. I like cars, okay? I think they're all beautiful cars because I don't want to offend anybody by saying, what do you mean by Honda? I'm not offending anybody, but there's a difference between the two cars. If you do a strip down a Bugatti versus a Honda, they're, yes, both cars, but they're different. It's not going to cost you $2,200. I think it's $2,200. It was something crazy to get an oil change on a Bugatti. It was like up there to get an oil change on that car. Brakes for your Honda will not be the same price that you will pay for brakes for a Bugatti. There's a difference between the two. That's what they call a certain class. Certain class of neighborhoods, certain class of income, certain class of cars, certain class. It's a class. So when you see these elite screens, and like I said, Elite makes amazing, they make beautiful screens, not to put down the company anyway, but when you see your elite screens, some people say, well, I can get an elite screen for like $200 and $304. Yeah, because that's a white screen. That's a bottom dollar screen. That's what you're getting. So the minute you start tipping over into the silver and gray, which is that Polar Star or the gray Cinema 5D, now you're talking about a screen that at $400 for a 100-inch or $300 for a 100-inch, now, because it's silver or gray, is now going to cost you anywhere from $900. And if it's silver, it's going to cost you $1,200. And if you want to do with that screen right there, which is the Dark Star 9, that's a special screen, that's a top dollar screen. Now you're talking about a price tag of $3,000. And some people don't really believe that there's screens up there that cost that kind of money. Yeah, there are screens that cost that kind of money. You can spend $5,000 for a screen. A lot of people don't realize that a DMP Supernova, the Infinity and Blade, for that particular screen is $4,000 to $5,000. You want a 180-inch of that screen? You got $18,000 because that's what it'll cost you. These are the top screens, top class screens. So what would be the point of me going in and testing somebody's screen paint mix versus my mix? That's boring. I want to go after a screen that costs $18,000. What is the difference between what makes your technology so good that it costs $18,000? You got to be able to prove it. All right, so let me show you right here. Now, I showed you the sample sheet we have here in the center right here, which is an Elite Dark Star 9 right there. They do have several other screens that I'm actually got my eye on, which I do plan to get those samples because I want to know who has a black screen out there. I've never seen a black screen, black motorized projection screen. I've never seen an actual black screen from a company. No, I'm sorry for those who want to say black diamond. The screen is actually dark gray. Unless the Slate 8 is black, which I'm curious to see if it's black or not, but most of the ones I've seen are very, very dark gray. I want to see an actual true black screen because a true black screen would be able to pull up a black star field. If it doesn't, it comes up gray. That's how I know it's not black. That's how I can test it on my end. So if we come over here and I'll show you. I'll show you the color red. We've done this already before, but it's just for kicks and giggles. So we have one screen, black house paint, oversaturation, and then we have the other screen, which is the Dark Star 9, which I don't know what's going on right there. I'm going to tell you the truth. All right, so I'm going to show you the sample sheet that we have. All right, let's move this over real quick to my monitor. That is the price tag. If you were to buy that sample sheet at 106 inches, that's what it would cost you. You see what Prime Vision is? Prime Vision is the top quality screens they design. So we'll come over here and I'll show you. This is a Dark Star 9 Prime Vision. This is one of their top end screens. The higher the gain on the screen, the more expensive the screen becomes. A 0.9 gain. Now, the Prime Vision, their screens may have, I don't think they work with ultra short those, I'm not sure. I'll tell you the truth. Some of the screens will work with ultra short those, some of them won't. So then you have to consider the fact that if you do buy the screen may be ultra short, though maybe it may not be. You know what I mean? Then they want to say, well, you have to have so much square feet of light in the environment in order to use the ambient light rejection technology, and you have to use a certain form of projector. Go in there, go to Elite Screens and say, hey, look, I own a 720p NEC projector that is 600 by 800 res, and it's an SVGA. And I want to use your screen on your projector. They'll tell you that projector is garbage. It's no good. You have to go out and get yourself. Either you might need it. I might advise you get a 4K projector. You know what I mean? So keep in mind, we've done 720p projectors. Doesn't make a difference. I have customers call me about 720p projectors. Doesn't make a difference if you have a 720p projector. There you go. So Dark Star 9, yeah, it's a gray screen. Dark Star 9 is a gray. So we'll go over here and we'll do the star field. Let's go over here and let's do, because this is how I'll know if your screen's black or not. If your screen's black, it'll come up black on the star field. If it's not, then it will come up gray. Now, as I said before, our screens have multiple shades of gray. So our screen, multiple shades of black, because our screen can produce a higher white level. It is going to be a little different than the everyday black screen that's saturated with too much contrast. Okay, where's my star field? Okay, this is what you should be watching when you watch a demonstration on screen paint. I could easily come out here, turn out all my lights, take my 4300 lumen projector, and wow you with beautiful colors and amazing detail. I could do that easily. What's the point? You have to see exactly what you're buying, right? So, you know, I got to show you, you know, I have to do these demonstrations here to show you. You have to do more than that, you know what I mean? You don't want to go buy a car and say, oh, car, give me money, go. Well, explain something about the vehicle before I actually put all this money on it. No one buys that way. I guarantee you, when you go out and you buy your gaming systems or whatever you buy, you do your research before you buy it, because you want to make sure you get your money straight. So if you're watching demonstrations and they're just showing the screen and beautiful images and that's it, and that's the end of it, then there's a problem there. They have to explain to you what makes this technology different from anything out in the market. This is what you'll go through if those of you who develop screen paint and are watching. This is what you'll go to if you ever get an email telling you that, hey, I'm interested in your product and I would like you to come down to our test facility so we can check out your item. They're not going to go down there and take your screen and display it on a 6,000 lumen 8K projector and go, oh, it's beautiful. No, they're going to run it through all kinds of crap. And if it fails, then you just go home without a contract. That's all. All right. Let's get out of here real quick. I need to put that star field. Where's my star field at? Star. I'm sorry, I do apologize. If you're trying to reach me, I do apologize. I'm in stream right now, so I'm not going to be able to pick up right now. I will in a few call you back. Customers that are trying to reach me, I will call you back, I promise. I'm thinking about in the moment getting my own basically 800 number, I really don't want to deal with a computer system because I do like talking to my customers. I really enjoy talking to them. A lot of people don't realize that I actually have 6 of my customers are actually on my Facebook page and they're on my private cell phone. I have one of them, actually I have 2 of them. Now, the other ones I'm cool with. I'm really cool with all of them. But one of them I actually known for at least 7 years. He's a good friend of mine. And we've been friends for around 7 years. And I've been down to his house, met his family. We had barbecues and stuff like that out there. Really cool fellow. So I call it my brother from another mother. And we talk just about every day. That's one of my best friends. We talk just about every day. And this was actually one of my customers. And that's why I don't like the machinery, because it doesn't make you feel like I'd rather talk to my customers. Wish you were 10 of me, because then I could go on vacation now. The other one answer calls. But I like talking to my customers because it gives me an idea of what they're buying and what they're getting, what kind of projector they have, what kind of setup they have. So, stay up there, don't it? No! Okay, I'm going to go get you back. All right. So, 2 things when you do a dark. Come over here. Hold on. When you do a star field demonstration, 2 things I look at when I look at a screen, and you probably don't even see it if you look at it. When a screen has oversaturation of too much contrast, it's pushing too much of a high contrast level. When I do it on a star field demonstration, if the screen comes up too dark, then it shows that it's pushing out too high of a contrast level. If the contrast level comes up too light, that means it has no contrast. So this is how I can measure your technology in your screen, if you have black screens or gray screens or whatever. So as you can see, as you're looking at the black house paint, you're thinking, wow, it has a really good contrast. No, the contrast is oversaturated. It's pushing out too much contrast. It doesn't have a balance. Because when I go in, hold on for a minute, let me take Mr. out because we're not going to do well in this demonstration at all. As a matter of fact, I'm going to leave him up there. So if you look at it and you're thinking, okay, it's pulling out a very high black level. No, the black level is too high. And for someone to say, well, there's no such thing as a too high of a black level when it comes to a black screen. Yes, there is. Because if that means that black level is that high, that means when it gets down to a screen that's different colors, so we do red, blue, and green, or pink, or sky blue, it's going to come up dark because it can't pull a white level. So the screen is producing too high of a contrast level. These are things you have to see. So when people say, well, prove that theory, it's easy to prove that theory. We'll clear it. Keep in mind the DMP, the screen we have right here is much lighter than my screen, so it should produce a perfect pink, much brighter than our screen because, as you can see, it's a lighter screen, right? But as I said before, contrast is everything. Without contrast, you don't have color pop. So let's pull up the color pink. It's bright pink color. There we go. We'll get this one right here in the center. Now, as you can see, because the screen does not have a high enough contrast level, it washes out. The screen has too high of a contrast level, it becomes dirty. Just because you pull a contrast level on a black screen doesn't mean you have a perfect screen. It means you have a screen that may have too much black levels in it. Maybe the contrast level may be too high. And if the contrast level is too high, that means anything you hit it on that's not black will come out dirty. Apparently you can't pull the color orange, which I'm curious why you cannot pull out the color orange. What is going on? Let's do screen. Did that I pull it up? Which I'm curious now. I can't pull up. Alright. There we go. Orange. Color seems to be off, doesn't it? Yeah, one has too much black, and the other one basically doesn't have enough contrast. Let's go with pale orange. So when someone asks me about calibrating a projector, you don't calibrate projectors on black screens. Well, not this from a black technology. You don't have to calibrate your projector, but there's no way in the world we'll be sitting there calibrating a projector. All right. I'm going to get out of here real quick. I have much to do today. So I have orders and I have customers I have to call back. I hope you enjoyed the video demonstration. Let's go over to really quick. Take all this out. Let's go with the LG. Those of you that are thinking about developing black screen paint, it just gives you a little bit more to think about, because just because you pull a contrast level really doesn't mean anything. It means your image could literally just be too dark. Well, we'll let that go anyway. I'll drop this in my truck. I'm thinking about next year. I'm thinking about getting my hands on the Ford what's the Ford F650? Yeah, I think that's gonna happen. Gotta call you back, Chief. Look at that. That's just sad. All right, I gotta go. Hope you enjoyed the video demonstration. Thank you all for your time. Kenneth Bird from Illuminous 4K Screen Paint using Ambilight rejection technology gain. For those of you that are interested in the wallpaper screens, they are available on our website. This screen paint as also. Also to add really quick, that projector combo we have at the 235.1 is now sold. It is out of here. We will not have any more combos for a while. Just want to put that out there really quick. Maybe at the end of this year, I'll be able to show off the transparent wallpaper screen, which is going to be quite cool, because I actually will be getting one of those in here for my PS5. All right, thank you all. Got to go, and God bless. And whenever the PS5 launches. All right, got to go, and God bless.